Hi everybody, I'm Kimberly Edwards from cookingwithkimberly.com, and today I'm making collard greens. Southern collard greens. I used to live down south. I have some southern roots in me, and I love my greens. I have to have my greens, but you have to make them with pork, okay? And mostly you have to make them with some smoked pork, and I don't have any smoked pork today, but I have something equally as cool and amazing and delicious I can't wait to use. And this is from the British Pride Bakery. It's the British Booker, and it's fresh back bacon. Check that out. Now, I didn't get that at my grocery store. I got that at Harvest Barn Country Markets. So we have one in Niagara on the Lake, Ontario, and St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. And you can get that there. They carry that fresh. And that's what I'm going to use. This is actually a nice, it looks like a thick steak of pork, right? But it is not. It's not a steak. It's actually sliced in there. So I'm gonna get a couple slices out. I'm just gonna break this open. Lovely, nice slices. Look at that. Smells good. Look at these. Uniformly cut too. That's gonna cut up or cook up very nicely. I'm gonna use 2 of these, and I have a large stock pot on my my stove top right now, my gas stove top, and I have it already preheated with some bacon fat in the bottom just to get things going because I don't want things to stick. So I have it on a medium heat. I put a little bit of bacon fat on the bottom, and now I'm going to fry up 2 of these nice, great big slices of fresh back bacon. All right, everybody? And as soon as that's done, you're just gonna get them nice and brown, and you're gonna take them out. So we'll be right back when they're nice and brown on each side. It'll probably take, I don't know, 3-4 minutes aside, and you should be pretty good. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so I have to get my collard greens prepared. So I have a great big bunch of collard greens I got from the store. They're washed now, and I'm just going to rip the pieces off of this big stalks. You can do this, or you can use a knife and you can cut maybe 2-inch strips or so, but I don't want that great big rib from the middle because that can be rather chewy and it can take quite some time to cook. And I'm just gonna grab that off, so I ripped it off the stalk, and then I rip it into bite-sized pieces, right? These are gonna wilt, and they're gonna, you know, kind of like how spinach goes, or any kind of green like this is going to wilt. So it's gonna be much less volume than what it looks like initially, okay? And my bacon, my back bacon, is doing lovely in my pot, in the bottom of that pot. And I'm just gonna let that go until I see just a little bit of brownness, and I'm gonna take it out. Now, if you're using bacon, like slices of bacon and not the back bacon, the Canadian bacon, you're gonna wanna make sure that that's nice and crisped up. You want some nice crisp bacon. This can be a little bit more chewy because that's how you would eat back bacon. You don't eat it all crisped up to a crisp. Right, Mom? You eat it when it's tender still. Ish. Right?
Right.
Yes.
That's why I make such a good sandwich.
Absolutely. Oh, I love back bacon sandwiches. So yeah, when you're checking out these leaves, you're going to see it's on a stem. So you're just going to rip off from one side down that rib, down the middle. And then when you're satisfied with how far you went, you come back up the other side. And that's it. Then you rip these into bite-sized pieces, just like you would when you're making a salad, okay, like off romaine lettuce. So I'm going to repeat that for the rest of these bad boys, because there's a whole strainer colander full of them that I've cleaned. And you want to have a bunch of them because when it wilts down, it's going to be next to nothing, and you're going to wish you had so much more because these are so delicious. They take a while to make. They take about 45 minutes to simmer and get cooked. So just know that it's going to be about an hour's project, okay? That's it. All right, we'll be right back when I'm done all these. All right, I'm taking out my back bacon because it's nice. It's sizzled up. At this point, if you're into onions and garlic, go ahead and slice yourself up a 1 large onion. Here, this is what they looks like. Beautiful. That fresh British butcher's back bacon. Gorgeous. Smells so good. Anyhow, what was I saying? Yes, you can slice up a large onion, saute it up, make it real nice and tender, and then put up a nice minced garlic, get it fragrant, and then you're gonna do what I'm about to do, okay? Now, in the bottom of my pot right now, I just fried up my bacon, okay? So on the bottom of my pot, I have these nice dark brown, yummy, tasty bits, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna quickly deglaze the pan now. You can use beer with your collard greens, which is very tasty. You can use chicken stock, you can use water, you can use tea, you can use red wine if you really feel like it, but I like the white wine better. Today we're going to use white wine just because I don't have chicken stock. Otherwise, I would probably use chicken stock today, but that's all gravy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deglaze the bottom of the pan, not with my stock, but with this white wine. And I'm going to put in probably, I would say, about a cup of this white wine. I'm just eyeballing. Now, that's going to suck all those gorgeous little fried bits onto the bottom of that pan. It's going to get it into the liquid, and it's going to season up my liquid for my collard greens. Now, after I'm done getting it off of my stems and all that stuff, this is what I have left, okay? That great big thing is about one bowl of this, and it's going to come down to like that much. It's going to be next to nothing almost. So you need to use a bunch of greens if you're going to really eat this for a side dish. This I'm going to chop up in a second, but this I'm going to let go. Now I'm turning up my temperature, and I'm going to scrape the bottom of my pan with a paddle or a wooden spoon or something like that, just to get those little tasty bits into the liquid. It should come off very easily because wine is a great deglazer. Yep, it's coming off easy, and that's going to be all kinds of great flavor in the liquid for these collards. Okay, so that wine has started to simmer, and I just turned it right down to low. We're going to season this water before we throw these collards in, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind up some nice pepper. I have some really great cam pot pepper from Cambodia. Very, very nice and fragrant. I'm going to use, I don't know, about maybe 10 nice peppercorns, and I'm going to chop them up, bash them up in here. The rest, that'll be too much otherwise. Okay, I'm going to use that. Crush that up. There's nothing like freshly cracked pepper for what you're trying to do. Into my pot. Okay. I'm also going to put a bay leaf in, and I always do that just for good measure. My mommy taught me so, and her mommy taught her so, and that's just what we do. So I'm going to put a little bay leaf in to season things up. I'm also going to put about a teaspoon of sea salt flakes. Now you can use whatever kind of salt you like. I'm just going to happen to use these Maldon sea salt flakes. They feel nice. They're easy to grab. Great big tub. 1 teaspoon. Okay, we're also going to re-season all of this at the very end before we eat. So this is just the preliminary cooking stuff. You need to put some flavor in there for these guys so they can cook right. All right, I'm going to put a pinch, I would say that's about 1/4 teaspoon of red chili flakes. I like it nice and spicy. Also, when I cook my collard greens, typically, like I said earlier, I use things that are smoked. Smoked meats. Smoked turkey leg works beautifully. That's from Uncle Tony down there, Tony Edwards. And down in Dallas, Texas. Shout out Uncle T. And he does a beautiful collard greens with this smoked turkey leg. It's stupid. Like, you can't get enough of it. So instead of using a smoked meat, because I'm not using that today, I'm going to use some smoked spices. And I'm going to use this smoked paprika, this powder that I have. It's awesome. And let me just open this up here. Boom. I'm going to use about probably a teaspoon. Hold on 1 second. I'm actually going to measure it out. I'm going to use a teaspoon of this stuff. Now this is a sweet smoked paprika powder. The smokiness is fantastic. Ugh. It doesn't smell like hickory. It smells almost like mesquite, I would say. It doesn't smell hickory-ish. It smells like mesquite to me. Anyway, it's just me. But it's the sweet variety. Now they have a bitter sweet variety and a hot spicy variety. But the La Chinata, this is the sweet one. So smoky. Such a beautiful color, okay? So it's going to impart this smoky flavor that I'm trying to achieve that I don't have with my meat, but that's okay because we got this great back bacon that's all beautiful and plump. That looks gorgeous. That's pretty much it. That's how we're rolling right now. Also, I'm going to put another couple of cups of liquid in after I put these in. So I'm going to get these in here into this liquid. We're going to stir everything around. You want them just to start wilting, okay? Let them wilt. I'll have it on low for the moment. I'm going to chop up this beautiful bacon. just into nice chunks. I'm also going to include the pieces of fat because that's going to just melt away in there, and that's where lots of the flavor is. Now I'm just giving nice chunks, nice chunky size pieces. You don't want huge pieces, but you want little pieces all throughout to flavor it. Now if you get a nice little chunk of bacon with your collard greens, I don't think you're going to be too upset. I sure wouldn't. I'm going to try a little bit of this bacon. That's so delicious. Yummy. Make sure you check them out, okay? The British Butcher. That's fantastic. Nice and salty. Okay, that's going to really salt up my collard greens. So be careful adding too much salt initially. Into there it goes. Right. I need a towel. Whoop. All right. And now we're going to add another probably 2 cups, but instead of using just water, I'm going to add just plain black tea, orange pekoe tea. Right back. Okay, another 2 cups of liquid is going in. Now, feel free to use stock if you like to here. Some tea, some water, whatever you got. And that's what I'm using. So now what we're going to do, we're going to cover this bad boy up. Believe it or not. We're going to stir it through. Stir it all nice and through. We're going to put it on a medium-low heat, and we're going to cover it for about 10-15 minutes, okay? I want to bring that up to the boil. I want to get it started, all right? And we'll be back, and I'll tell you what else to do. Okay, it's been about 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm just going in to stir it, really. I want to make sure that my temperature is proper. You see the steam that came out. I still have it on that medium-low heat. You just want it to simmer. It's going to simmer for about 45 minutes, so sit tight, right? I'm in here, I'm just going to stir it. I'm probably going to come back in another 15 minutes and stir it again just to make sure. You also want to make sure that it still has liquid in the bottom. If it doesn't have any liquid in the bottom, put a little bit more water in there. That's all you need to do, okay? Make sure it doesn't go completely dry. At the very end, I'm probably even going to put a little bit of butter, because who doesn't like butter on their collard greens? Shh, I don't know. I do. Anyway, so back in. Set your timer again. We'll see you guys in a little while. Okay, everybody, they should be ready. There's very minimal amount of juice in here. There's probably 1/4 cup at the bottom. And that's perfect, perfect, perfect. We also want to put a little bit of butter in before we serve. And I'm going to taste these guys up. I am assuming they probably won't need any more salt because that meat had salt. And I also added a little bit of salt at the beginning. That should be plenty. My butter actually is unsalted tonight, but sometimes butter is salted as well. So just be aware of that so you don't have an overly salty dish. Now, my meat looks fabulous, smells fabulous, tastes fabulous. I'm going to have a little bite of that right quick. And a piece of the collards. Now the collards are finally nice and tender. The meat is great. It's a really great combination. And those are done. They're tender. That's plenty salty. Lots of salty. Okay? You don't need any more salt. Anyway, if those leaves are still a little bit, chewy and difficult to eat, then you need to add a little bit more liquid and let it go simmer for another 15 minutes or so. It's no big deal. But these are done. They're fabulous. I'm going to serve them alongside some pork burgers this evening. And it's going to be awesome. Southern collard greens. That's what's going down. That's how you make them. They're all wilted down. So you kind of serve it like you would spinach. Okay, everybody? So I know it doesn't seem like it's a lot that you got. I told you it was going to come right down. And that looks like it's, I don't know, maybe 2 cups worth-ish. So that'll serve 3 people probably. So if you're going to do it for a whole bunch of people like Thanksgiving or something like that, you need at least 2 or 3 bunches of those collard greens from the store. Cool? All right, everybody, that's how you make Southern collard greens, right? I hope you follow me on Twitter at Cooking with Kim, E with a capital E. I hope you like the fan pages, facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. My shows are on ifood.tv/cookingwithkimberly and youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. And my site is cookingwithkimberly.com. Come interact with me. Let me know what's going down in your culinary world. All right, everybody? Be champions in your kitchen and eat deliciously. Bye.
Mirror, mirror, tell me Tell me who you are. Tell me who you're looking at. You do this to yourself.